Back around January 2011, Jenny and I were visiting her family in Mississippi when we first met a young bobtailed puppy named Champ. He had wandered up to Bud's house and decided to stick around for a while. Because Bud lives on a busy road, he felt that he couldn't keep him, but I think he really wanted to. Jenny and I had no intention of bringing him back to North Carolina, but as we all know, we did. I can honestly say it was one of the best decisions we ever made. For around 14 years, Champ brought us nothing but happiness. Champ loved to go for a ride, even the last days of his life here on Earth. No matter if it was to go for a vet visit or ride to the dump or go camping in the mountains or to make the long road trip to Mississippi. All he had to hear was "wanna go for a ride," and he was ready. Even when he couldn't hear very well or see much, he knew that having his red leash hooked to his personalized Champ collar meant that it was time to ride. Champ was a very gracious passenger. He would get in the back seat of a truck and lie down and just let the miles go by. He never complained or asked, "Are we there yet?" Champ had several nicknames I called him. Buddy, Beans, Beanie, Hard-Headed Dog, but the one that described him best for me was my sweet boy. And he was the sweetest, most easygoing dog I ever had. He had to take medicines twice daily, and never once did he refuse them, especially if they were wrapped up in some cat food. Champ was a thinker. He rarely would do anything without studying on it. He wasn't stubborn at all, but he seemed to weigh things out in his mind before committing to them, a trait that is pretty good. When Champ was younger, he would chase squirrels, deer, and the geese on the pond. He had a pretty low success rate in catching them, but he never gave up. The last few years of his life were difficult for him, I'm sure. He contracted a terrible eye disease that caused him to lose his left eye, and then he developed a cataract in his right eye to basically render him blind. Not long afterwards, he pretty much lost his hearing, but he never complained. He tried to continue living his normal life, but needed some help at times. Towards the very end, he had extreme difficulty with his hindquarters, and the simple task of getting to his feet was a challenge for him. Champ and I had a great relationship. I loved him, and he loved me, although I could not love him as much as he loved Jenny and me. On his last day with us, we had to make the most difficult decision we have ever made. We called Dr. Crabtree at Carver Street Veterinary Hospital, and she was so very gracious to come to our home. Because of that, it was a sad but peaceful time. We held Champ in our arms and hands as we said our goodbyes, and he closed his eyes and was at rest. Yes, we shed buckets of tears, but we are confident that we did what was best for Champ. I know that we will see Champ again. I do not believe that God would create a creature like a dog and not have them in heaven. Rest in peace, my sweet boy. You will always be in my heart.